Welcome to the Chronically Healthy Life show. What do you think about our new intro music?
You're not gonna go for that. This is fine.
Anyways, when you hear the word chronically, do you automatically associate with chronic disease? Just proud of myself changing the music. We all do. It's been programmed right into us. But what if we flip the whole idea on its head? Let's discover how we can create chronic health in our bodies, our minds, our finances, our relationships, and of course, our lives. Let's jump right on in. It's just me and Andy. It's just me and Minna today in all things chronically healthy.
So today you were out. I was having some nice peace and quiet time by myself. So I was meditating, and on the Headspace app, it came up with this thing about hermit crab, and I thought it was interesting. So apparently, hermit crab is not really a crab, and they're not really hermits because they actually live together as a group of hermit crabs. So they're not really a hermit. They don't live by themselves. And what's interesting is that they tends to outgrow the shell and they need to find a new one. And so it's not like a shrimp or a lobster where they just grow into a new shell. They actually have to go find a new one. And, that reminds me of Sherman's Lagoon and Sherman's
I was going to talk about that.
for cans and cups as a shell. So now I understand why, because they need to find a bigger shell. So, just as an analogy, hermit crabs go around and look for new shells. They grow out of their existing one. So when they grow out, they need to find a new one, a bigger one, and a shinier one. So how does that apply to you?
I think it's for me, and a lot of our viewers out there, it's really about expanding your knowledge, right? Because we don't want to be just stagnant and staying in that small shell. We want to be always expanding our mind into like a larger shell, training our brain. I think there are some great things that we can do to improve our brain, to improve our life.
Well, I'm glad you didn't say you want to buy a bigger jacket or a bigger house, a bigger car.
A bigger car.
So good answer. So, these days everything's online and you can find a lot of really affordable stuff on like Udemy. Either you have course on Udemy
Correct.
on cleansing.
Spring cleanse. Yes,
Spring cleanse.
cleaning your liver.
There you go. Course on spring cleanse. There's stuff on Skillshare, there's stuff on LinkedIn Learning, Wonderium, Masterclass. There's a whole slew of things you can learn online without ever leaving your room. So there are things that you can learn that would kind of train your brain and maybe curb your curiosity a little bit. Maybe you can from there find a new hobby or find a new skill. Just expand your horizon a little bit.
And the first one you have on here, I don't know, that is just that, am I not that smart or super smart because I figured it out, is how to solve a Rubik's Cube.
Did you?
Yeah, it's like
the whole cube one, not just one side.
The whole cube. Because I remember in That's Incredible, they had this kid, and it's all done in 1 minute. And, I can do one side, I can do two side. And then one day I figured, hey, they're very loose. It falls apart, and I can take it apart, put it back together in less than a minute. So I beat the world's record.
Okay.
Still solve the Rubik's Cube, right? They didn't say it had to be done this way. Training the brain.
It's training your hands. Not that way, but there are courses online on how to solve a Rubik's Cube. To truthfully, how to train your brain to think differently. Not that way. But the other thing you can learn is maybe to draw and really drawing.
Yeah, I love drawing, and I know there's a lot of courses out there that teaches you how to draw anime, right? And people that don't know what anime is, it's just Japanese cartoons that everyone's watching nowadays. So that's really cool. It's the ones with the really big eyes,
the purple hair,
exactly. Right.
Okay. And maybe you can learn to play even a musical instrument. I know I refuse to teach you how to play piano. Maybe you can go learn yourself.
I had a little stint trying to play guitar from a real person, so maybe I will try learning online.
Good luck with that. Okay. How to play chess?
How to play chess? I'm gonna have to figure that out because recently I'm mentoring. I'm a mentoring a kid in high school, and it's so funny how things have changed over the years. He's like 14, grade 9, And I thought it'd be easier to find things in common. And the only thing I can find in common is he loves chess, and I have no clue about how to play chess. So that's going to be on my one of the to-do things that I need to learn in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. So there you go. Learn how to play chess. How about sewing, knitting,
That is
painting?
your thing that,
Oh, hell no. When I was in school and they make you knit some things,
Correct.
I just take it home to my mom and she'll finish it for me. It was horrible.
And of course, there's how to train your dog. If you have a dog or a cat, you cannot train cats. Cats do whatever they want. Dogs, I don't want to call them dumber, but they can be trained. Yes, man's best friend.
Or you can learn how to sing, assuming people like how you sing. Some people can learn to sing well. Some people should never sing at all. You heard them at karaoke's, I'm sure.
Yes. It sounds better when they're drunk because you can't hear how well they sing.
What about photography?
Photography is a great one, and I know you shared a photography course for us, how to shoot with the iPhone, which was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I found that one on Facebook.
Yeah,
it's a Facebook ad, and I signed up. And it's actually very good training. It was done by a guy from somewhere in Europe, and so he has a funny accent, but it was great training.
And the pictures do look better. I don't know if you noticed that on our feeds. But anyways, the next one would be ways to learn things faster. That's something I can probably get some help with. And one of the best persons to learn that is Jim Quick, right?
Jim Quick, he's also trained the cast of X-Men back in the day on how to read and how to do the memory training. So he's a great guy. There's other people you can learn from, of course, how to read faster so you can actually go through a book, or how to focus and how to remember your grocery list without actually making a list.
Exactly. And the next one is paint like a pro. Not quite sure what that means, like painting a picture or painting a house.
I think painting a picture.
Okay.
So I know stuff out there that you can paint by numbers.
Okay.
But you can actually take that to the next level and make it more like a professional painting.
Nice.
Maybe
the next one is yours that you
music theory. I aced that. I'm not pro in that. But it's something that might be interesting to you. So music theory, basically the language of music, or just go and learn a new language.
Like what we've been trying to do with Duolingo of learning Spanish.
See.
And how to create YouTube videos. I think that's a big one because of social media and everything. Everyone has something they're very good at, and there's great ways to make money on YouTube nowadays, but you need to present it properly.
Of course, and of course there's like beekeeping. I know we talked about it. That might be something that would be interesting. You can, if it's for your kids, because you need life skills, they need drawing skills, they should probably know how to cook and how to. I don't know this about course in teaching kids how to. You can look for that. Maybe.
We're just talking about my house cleaner. My kids need to learn how to help clean. So.
And you were playing a lot with AI, and what did you learn from it?
AI is actually really cool. A little scary on what it's good at, but it's actually very good,
It's a skill that you probably will be needing more and more in the future. So
yeah, I totally see AI replacing a lot of things, or at least improving a lot of things.
Special guest of the week today.
The special guest of the week is actually quite special, and it's me. Very special.
Sure. Okay.
We'll be right back after this short break where my lovely partner is going to be interviewing me today. See you soon. Hey everyone, it's Andy from Chronically Healthy Life, and on this week's biohacking episode, I want to talk about a habit that's ingrained to us early on as kids, and that is brushing our teeth, right? And, early on, you're always told you need to brush your teeth first thing in the morning, brush it before you go to sleep. And, of course, you need to use toothpaste with fluoride, right? Fluoride is going to prevent cavities. You see it on the commercials all the time. But did you know that fluoride is actually a toxic chemical? And if you look at your toothpaste, mine doesn't say it, but if you look at your toothpaste, check right now at home, it will actually say if swallowed, contact poison control. Did you get that? If you swallow your toothpaste, you go to the emergency room because it's toxic. And of course, you get your kids to brush your teeth with it. And how much do you put on your toothpaste? On your toothbrush? You see all those commercials, the kids are like, they're coming out with their toothpaste and they're just like loading it on like this, right? Right the whole size of the toothbrush. And then they're just brushing, they're all happy and stuff because there's all these crazy good flavors and they're just brushing it and maybe they'll maybe swallowing it, right? But the problem is if you look at your toothpaste, it'll tell you to use only a pea-sized amount of the toothpaste because if you're using more than a pea-sized amount, one, like I said, it is toxic. If you swallow it, you don't want to be swallowing too much, and I tell you, they're probably swallowing some. But two, too much fluoride can actually cause damage to your teeth. Did you hear that? A lot of times your dentist, you're seeing all the commercials, fluoride prevents tooth decay, but too much fluoride can cause dental fluorosis. If you look at some people, they have all those little white and brown specks on their teeth. That is because you're using too much fluoride. And I tell you, most kids are lathering it up, probably even more than this, brushing their teeth. And over years, it can damage the tooth enamel. And it does not self-repair after that, right? So that's the dangers of using too much fluoride in your toothpaste. But on top of that, fluoride, and before I go any further, I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving medical advice, but there are studies showing that fluoride is a neurotoxin. It's not a mineral that our body uses. It's not even a mineral that our body needs, okay? We do not need fluoride for properly functioning inside the body. Fluoride there's studies showing that it lowers IQ of children if they're using too much. So if they got funky looking teeth, they're probably a little lower in IQ now because they're probably just brushing their teeth too much with fluoride. On top of that, too much fluoride over the years can cause creaky joint pains, make you sound like a creaky door, and it can also aggravate chronic conditions, right? And of course, one of the worst ones that we are telling people not to use fluoride is because fluoride, too much of it, can cause you to premature age. You age faster if you use too much fluoride, right? And of course, we're longevity coaches, so we're doing everything we can to slow down the aging process, right? We don't want to speed it up, right? So what can you do without brushing with toothpaste with fluoride? Well, first of all, the obvious one is find one that doesn't have fluoride in it. The ones we have here is fluoride-free, and on top of that, it has prebiotics, it has vitamin A, C, D, E, and K, and it also have ionic minerals that your body actually needs, and it has CoQ10, which is great for your heart and for your brain. But next to that, I suggest that you floss daily, twice a day minimum, or if you like eating a lot, maybe a little bit more, right? And one of the other things that we always recommend, I think we talked about it before, is coconut oil pulling, which is great for killing any bacteria in your mouth that causes tooth decay. It also strengthens your teeth, it lowers inflammation in your gums, and it whitens your teeth naturally. You don't need any of these whitening toothpaste to whiten your teeth. So I hope that that helps all the parents out there, and even all the people out there that's still brushing their teeth, because we all do it twice a day, is to find out if your toothpaste has fluoride, and if you do, it's time to throw it out and find one that doesn't. All right, strap in, folks. We're about to take a joyride through the fountain of youth. It's Andy Nam from Chronically Healthy Life. Ever wonder why some folks seem to age like fine wine, while others are more like a moldy cheese that's been forgotten in the back of the fridge? It's like they got the energy of a Duracell bunny on Red Bull, while the rest of us are running on fumes. Now, you might think hitting the gym and munching on kale is the ticket to eternal youth, but sometimes it feels more like we're just speeding up the aging process. Picture this. You're on the treadmill, feeling like $1,000,000, and suddenly you look down and realize your knees sound like a bag of popcorn in the microwave. Not exactly the sound of youth, am I right? But fear not, my friends, because here's the kicker. It's not just about the number of candles on your birthday cake. It's all about those sneaky little stem cells playing hide and seek inside your body. At 20, you got more of these bad boys than you can shake a stick at. But fast forward a few decades and they're as scarce as a parking spot in downtown Manhattan. But guess what? We got a secret weapon up our sleeves. Phototherapy without drugs. That's right, folks. With LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patches, you can hit the rewind button on aging faster than you can say reverse aging. So if you're ready to reclaim your youth, look younger, feel stronger, and heal faster than a superhero with a cider espresso, then it's time to hop on board the rejuvenation train. Schedule your free consultation now at calendly.com/thefoolishcouple/stem cells. And let's make aging look like yesterday's news. It's not anti-aging, it's reverse aging, baby.
Welcome back to Chronically Healthy Life. So we're running a little lean today. It's just two of us. So he's apparently the guest. So I guess I will be the host.
Yeah, so Christy will be back. She has some family emergency. So, all the thoughts out to Christy.
So I know you have a story to tell, and it's basically kind of why you went from a car guy to something else.
Yeah, a lot of people, they may know me as the car guy. I love cars, and to this day I still do. I love fast cars. And my first business when I started is with cars. But when we first started going out, I had a major car accident when I was 18, and I was T-boned by a one-ton truck going through an intersection that caused damage. It fractured my neck, bent my back, all sorts of other problems. And, it's interesting. When you're young, you think you're Superman, you're Rambo, that you will recover quickly. And that's the way I thought. I just didn't think much about it. So, get right back into it. You're young, you're gonna heal your body, and everything's gonna be good. But when I was 21, looking at talking to my bone specialist, he was saying that the amount of damage you had on your body and the way your body's repairing now, you're probably going to have a body of a 70-year-old by the time you're in your 30s.
And that was when you're 21?
That was when I was
when
21.
You just started drinking?
Yes, that probably didn't help. All right, probably maybe drink more.
But that's probably what tipped you over to, do something else about your body, right?
Definitely. Right. So, fast forward next 10, 15, 20 years, it was almost like he was a fortune teller. And, during that time, like I said, I love fast cars. I had a car shop modifying cars to make them faster, working long hours. And if there's anyone out there that are mechanics or tweaking on cars, you're always under the car. It's hard on the body. Right. And it came to the point that I figured if I can just hustle, I can get in front of the health crisis. But of course, the more I hustled, the more my health declined.
It's interesting because, when you talk to doctors, right, and doctors have seen many cases like yours.
Of course.
It's not unique, and there are a lot of peers out there that has a similar issue. So when doctors look at you, they immediately go through, like, basically the database of how people would deteriorate over the years, and he's just telling you what most people what's going to happen to most people.
Yeah, I think he from his experience, he was just trying to tell me what is going to happen, and most people accept it. I think that's the biggest thing. And when he told me, I thought he was nuts. I was only 21. I was like, what does this doctor know? But sure enough, in the next 10, 15 years, things went downhill really fast. I was taking a lot of prescription pain medication just to get out of bed.
So when you're in the 30s, how do you feel?
I felt like my grandfather. I think in my 30s, my dad was already having his advanced stage in Parkinson's, and he was already in a senior assisted hospital. And that really scared me because I was in a lot of pain. But of course, the way I brought up, my dad says, always be macho, never show your pain in front of people. So no one in my family next to Minna know I was in pain all the time. And guess what? Those magic pills that the doctors give you, I tell you, they take away pain, but they don't take away the reason what was causing the pain. And it caused so many other problems that they didn't even tell me about. I had so many digestive health problems, like my gut bacteria, my brain was foggy all the time. And I was just, what's the best word to say it? I was very angry all the time. I was going to say something else, but I was very angry all the time. And she could probably contest to that.
Yeah, you're angry bitch.
I don't know if we can say that on TV. Right. But yeah, that really worried me, seeing where my dad was, and then seeing how I was affecting Minna, because like I said, but the thing is like, you're angry not at her, you're angry at yourself because you're in so much pain. And I think a lot of people out there can really relate to that.
So seeing how your dad is with his condition, does it make you scared that you're gonna become like him too?
Definitely, because I come from a very large family. Don't really want to go into my family dynamics, but I have three other members of my family, siblings, that died from cancer early on in their 30s, right? And here I am in my 30s, I'm in all this pain. I was worried that it might be cancer, it might be something else. And I'm talking to the doctors during that time. We had so many specialists I was seeing, and they said, Andy, you're just going to have to live with it. You're doing pretty good, but it's only going to get worse.
What does it mean by doing pretty good?
Once again, I guess statistically,
I
was managing pain pretty good. Like I wasn't in my deathbed yet. I don't know. I don't know. It was just very discouraging for to hear that.
So then, what do you do?
I think it came to the point, and I think everyone has to hit rock bottom, right? It comes to the point is you're going to have to make a decision. Are you deciding that you're going to listen to someone else determining how the rest of your life is, which is what the doctor says. It's only going to get worse. And to be honest, during that time, I don't even know how it can get worse. I can barely get out of bed. The way that I was treating Minna is like, I can tell that wasn't going to last very long. She's going to kick me out of the house pretty quickly. It came to a point that I had to figure another way. And that's really when I changed from a car guy to the nutrition space initially, to the health space.
So let's talk about your transition. When you hit rock bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
What goes through your mind?
I think what really worried me is I couldn't see myself what's going to be happening in the next 3 to 5 years. When you talk to people, they always say, if you have a life coach or a business coach, envision how your life's going to be in 3 to 5 years, or you have a relationship coach, how is it going to be with your kids? I can see what's going to happen in 3 to 5 years, and that really scared me.
And it's interesting because when you're talking to doctors, right, they seem like such a authority figure. So if a doctor tell you that you're not going to get any better, you tend to believe it, don't you?
And I did for over 20 years, right? And, to be fair, we're not bashing doctors. Doctors are amazing at what they do, and they are doing the best of what they got, right? So, like you said, statistically, this is what's going to happen. They know the route is going to go, and they saw me declining, and they were just telling the face, well, guess what? This is what's going to happen over time, and it's only going to get worse, because statistically, that's what's going to happen if you stay on this course.
So then you change course.
Yes, definitely change course. I was on so much drug medication. It was dumbing me down. I seriously felt, not that I'm the smartest guy in the room, but
you felt the Rubik's Cube.
Hey, less than a minute.
Okay.
Beat the world record, okay? But anyways, it came to a point in time that I was introduced to supplementation, right? Like vitamins, and I've been taking vitamins for decade and a half, but I didn't realize there was difference in what your body needs. And that sort of started my journey. As soon as I started taking nutritional supplements that really helped me with what I was missing, I started seeing results. And from there, it got me curious. And that started my journey to become a functional nutrition coach and longevity coach.
Which is interesting because, you were on a lot of vitamins, the Costco ones, the big ones,
oh, yeah.
The GNC ones.
Yes.
You had a lot, but there were no feelable effects.
No, there really wasn't. And
you kept taking it until you find something else and you tried it.
Yeah, exactly. It was funny because GNC, I don't know if people even know what GNC is, but during the time, it was the largest vitamin chain. And I saw Sylvester Stallone holding, this is the vitamins I take. And I was like, wow, he looks like that. That's what I'm taking. And sure enough, it didn't help. And later on, we learned that there was a book that actually compares all the supplements. We're not going to get into that. If people want to know about that, reach out to us. But it basically compares all the supplements out there. and they rate it from like a 0 to 100, and the vitamins I was taking was like what, 15, 20, 30 out of 100, right? It's not even fail. It's like
Epic fail.
it's an epic fail. So no wonder it wasn't working, right? And the supplements that I took was 99 out of 100, right? And I was saying, so wow, maybe that's why I made a difference, and that's what got me wondering, why is it so different, and why is everyone slightly different in what they need, right?
So what makes a difference between the 15s and the 99s? How did they different? How they rated?
I think a lot of times they're different is how they get the raw materials, first of all, right? The way they're rating it is how pure it is, right? So if you can just say vitamin C, there's vitamin C in citrus fruits. Do you just squeeze an orange again, the vitamin C? Or do you squeeze the orange and then extract the vitamin C out, right? And of course, I'm just going very simplistic on that, right?
Because
But
orange has vitamin C and some other things.
exactly.
The sugar.
Right, you got sugar, you got whatever the tree grew up with, right? So you got toxins and everything. So here you are, you're getting vitamin C and everything else along with it, right? So when you're looking into supplements, you definitely want to see what type of third-party testing they do to verify that what's in the bottle is actually what's on the label is actually in the bottle.
Yeah, so the vitamin, I feel like it was really a blessing because it went from hopeless to hopeful.
Yes.
Now that you see some results, you figure there's a different path that you can take.
For sure. And that really led me into the rabbit hole for a little while. And, it's funny because I was meeting someone the other day, and he was saying, why should I work with you? All right. There's so many people out there. I can get all this information on the internet, Dr. Google. And why should I work with you? And I said, well, I think, you don't need to work with me, but work with someone that does what they say and do what they say. No, what's that saying?
Do what they. It's not what they say, but what they do, right? It's the parent thing.
Right. But anyways, my whole thinking is like, if a doctor's giving you advice how to lose weight and he's severely overweight, well, how good is that advice if he's not taking it himself, right? Or same thing for a trainer or even a nutritionist, right? So to me, it was like really weeding through all this noise, following the scientists, diving into the scientists, diving into all of the research papers to make sure that there is research on this. And weeding through the noise is what's my journey been for the last 10 years. And it's gone to the point. It's been really exciting. There's a lot of stuff out there that is 30, 40, 50 years old, right? And it just doesn't even make sense listening to it, but doctors are still using that.
So you've done a lot of research, you went to a lot of seminars, and now that you're kind of good at what you do, you're a speaker on what you do, and can you maybe share with viewers what are some of the common mistakes that most people make in terms of their health?
Yeah, I think the most common mistakes that people make, and they don't think about the longevity. We're longevity coaches here, and a lot of people, they don't need to worry about it. Is like the first one is they think that they can live forever, right? They look good on the outside, but what you don't know is what could be happening inside. Like that's the first one. And we have known friends that look amazing and have a stroke, right? Because you don't know what's happening inside. The other ones is a lot of people says, "Wow, my mom died from cancer. My dad died from cancer. My brother died from diabetes. I got bad genes. I can't do anything about it anyway, so I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna enjoy life."
Well, so let me cut you off a little bit. Not everybody believes they can live forever.
True.
But I can see that nobody really thinks about what happens to their life until it's too late.
Right.
And then a lot of people that you talk to can see that when they're in the 60s or 70s, they're going to be on a wheelchair or they can move.
Yes.
Or something for the next 15, 20, however long years they live, which in my opinion is not living at all.
That's actually what happened to my dad. Like he got admitted to a hospital with really, late stage Parkinson's, and he literally died in the assisted living hospital. Like for his last 15, 20 years, he lived to a long time, but that's not living at all, in my opinion.
So when you're talking longevity, it's not really just about long life, right?
Definitely not. It is really about living a longer period of time while you're enjoying your health and vitality. So you're staying as healthy as you can be. Preferably, get yourself as healthy as you can be first, and then continue that for as long as you can.
So when you're talking about genes, right? You
Mhm.
mentioned about your dad and how you feel like you're going to be like him one day.
Correct.
And you have siblings that had cancer in your
Yes.
30s, and you feel like, oh, maybe you might be one of the unlucky ones that got the bad gene, right?
Exactly.
So how does that mindset affect people?
I think it really puts them into a negative space because they think that there's no hope, right? I want to let people know out there, once again, I'm not a doctor, but I just want people to know how to understand how genes work, right? There's this whole study called epigenetics on how your body works with the gene. So just because you have a gene, say for cancer or for Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, because your whole family line's gotten it, it doesn't mean that you're going to get it, right? Depending on your lifestyle, depending on different healing modalities, those bad genes could be turned off. And this includes a big C, right? And, if the genes get turned on, there are ways to turn them off. And if you turn them off, guess what? You're not going to develop those chronic conditions.
Yeah, I think a good example for that is actually diabetes, right?
Yes.
So when we talk about diabetes, maybe your parents might have it, then you would assume that you would automatically have it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because you have the same gene, which you probably do, but more importantly is that you have the same lifestyle, right? Your
Exactly.
parents teach you what they were eating, and you were doing the same thing, eating the same things, you're working out. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you're not working out, or you just, the lifestyle habits that contribute to you getting these diseases, not really the genes. So it's not the gene's fault.
Agreed. But it is that lifestyle that's turning on the gene, which is causing the problem. Right? And you can turn it off. There are many ways you can turn it off. You can turn it off through diet and exercise, and there are different modalities. So we're going to talk about how you can reset your genes.
Which is something you don't hear from the medical field, that you can actually turn that off, that genes.
Not at all. They tell you got it, then you have a very high chance you can develop it sooner or later. That's what they're going to tell you, right?
Yeah, because that every time you start a new doctor, they always ask for
your health history.
And
exactly.
Go, oh, you're likely to have.
Yeah. And if there's any type of symptoms, they say you're leading towards that. All right, and that's normal, and that's how it was for me. Is like they've already saw, well, this is what happens. People that experience your trauma, this is what happens. It goes up this way. Yeah.
So let's talk about the other myth, right? I know a lot of people says that, well, to have a healthy life, all you have to do is eat well and exercise.
Yeah, I think that is the furthest from the truth, because what does eating well mean, right? You talk to different doctors and they'll give you different advice, right? You talk to different personal trainers that give you different information. You talk to different nutritionists and they'll probably give you different information. And, the simple answer is all of them are right, and yet all of them are wrong, right? Because food just isn't the same as what food used to be, right? So, and then once again, you're looking at your genes, you're looking at certain things that you can eat or cannot eat. So what may work for one person may not work for another. So some person that gets jacked and gets 6-pack abs eating just chicken work great for him, but it may not work for you.
So I know that, for movie stars, right, when they want a 6-pack ab, they have a specific diet just for that. So it depends on what you want in your goal, right?
Oh, for sure. And to be honest, those guys, they know it. It's not healthy to look like that, to have a superhero body, right? Because a lot of times to put yourself into that state, you're eating in a certain way, you are burning more calories than what you're taking, first of all, and I don't really believe in that anyway, but that's essentially what they're doing. And we're going down to really low body fat, and fat's protective. You want body fat, actually. Even though people hate body fat, is very protective. And a lot of times what they're eating is lacking in a lot of nutrients too. And of course, we don't even know what type of toxins they're ingesting, right?
Yeah, they always have the creatine and all the other things to supplement the
and some exactly, and some of those are good. Don't get me wrong. Like these amino acids are great for building muscle, right? But once again, it's how clean are those sources, right? Because like how clean were they getting it from, right? And I think that's where the problem is. People don't look about how clean the raw ingredients are, and it just comes right back down to supplementation, right? It's very important for your body to have what it needs to repair itself, and you know, most of the stuff that we just don't, they're not nutrient dense anymore.
So let's talk about the other case. The other side, the movie stars tend to do is they gain a lot of weight, like Bridget Jones, or recently we saw like Brendan Fraser gaining a lot of weight, and then they try to lose it all back. How does that affect your health?
I think that is the most dangerous thing that you can do. And this is just a piece of advice that everyone should listen to because this can relate to everyone. This is something that I learned from one nutritional cellular scientist. And he basically says your body is like a thermostat, right? And when you turn your thermostat up, the heat goes up, right? Which is great if you're trying to heat up your home. But your body works like a thermostat. As the higher the weight you get, well, guess what? That is the new normal for your body. So even when you're trying to lose weight, your body's always going to try to get back to the highest weight. So if you let it all go like they did, it's like they got down to 300 pounds. Guess what? The body now naturally is going to want to go back to 300 pounds.
Makes sense. So, when you talk about exercise, right, and when you're in the teens or your 20s and your 30s, do you do the same type of exercise?
You don't, right? And it's funny. I had a conversation with one of my really good friends, and he's 2 years older than me. And he asked, Andy, so do you think we can exercise at the same intensity that we are right now for the next 10, 15, 20 years? And then I sort of looked at him and I said, well, that depends, right? And he says, what do you mean? I said, in general, no, right? Because your body, as you're getting older, you can't repair itself. Like, we have this natural way to repair ourselves through stem cells, but as we get older, our stem cells decline. So there's no way you can do the same intensity of exercise because you don't have the same muscle growth. And when you tear the muscles, when you hurt something, it takes forever to repair itself. So like I said, it depends. If there's a way to boost your stem cells, then yes, you can continue to exercise the same intensity. But for most people, that'll be a hard no.
So I think what we're trying to portray is there's not one path for everybody that can just bring you to your longevity. Everyone's could be different.
Yes, definitely. Everyone's a bio individual, and that's what I do for a lot of people. Is I really dig deep in to find out which are the missing pieces. It's almost like the Rubik's Cube. I'm trying to set everything back out in a certain way.
You take it apart.
Literally, I'm taking these guys apart and I try to put them back together like a Mr. Potato Head. Hopefully, I put them back in the right places. But jokes aside, everyone is different. Sometimes it may be their genetics, right? It could be what they're eating. It could be the type of exercise. Maybe they're exercising too much, right? Because we get a lot of people, I just need to move more. I need to move more. But studies show that the more you exercise, there's a turning point where it is too much and you're aging your body faster. So you may look stronger, but you're literally breaking your body down faster, right? So, I try to figure out where everyone needs to be.
So before we talk about what you do, right, let's talk about this thing about people self-diagnosing.
Oh my God. It's getting it's getting much worse with AI, right? And one of my friends recently said, he was sharing with me his blood labs, and that's something I do. I do a deep dive into looking at your markers. And he was saying, Andy, I looked at everything, and everything looks good. And I said, according to who? Dr. Google. I was like, Dr. Who? Right? He said, I Googled everything, and they said everything looks good. And I'm looking through this, and I'm saying, no, there's quite a few ones that are actually pretty bad, right? And he says, why? And of course, he's not paying me. I'm not going to tell him, right? Jokes aside, I told him there are some that you need to be aware of. But he said, Dr. Goose says everything's fine. And yet you have to understand, they're pulling information from a source. They don't actually know, right? And most doctors will tell you everything's okay. Because in general, there's a range that doctors go through, and you're okay to a point where you need medication, right? So of course they're telling you you're okay because you don't need medication yet, but that doesn't mean you're good, right? Okay is not the same as good or healthy, right? And for me, that's where I dive in a little bit more. So yeah, I think there's self-diagnosis is a scary thing. People are getting off. If you're on medication, I would never tell people to get off medication on their own. But a lot of people say, well, I don't think I need this medication anymore. Well, you need to figure out what the metrics to measure before you decide if you need to wean off that medication. And you should always work with your doctor when that happens.
Yeah, so I think the point you're trying to portray is, doctors as guidelines, and they just tell you according to what the guidelines are. Otherwise, they will lose their license. And, searching online, they're just going by other people's opinion, which may not fit your situation, your body, your diversity. So, which is why you may want to consider getting yourself a coach.
Yes, when it comes down to it, I think it's really important to get a functional nutrition coach. And the main difference between a nutrition coach and a functional nutrition coach, or even a nutritionist, is we look at your overall health, where you are, and if you're suffering conditions. Is like we're not trying to mask the symptoms. We do a little bit deeper dive as to what's causing it, right? Like what's the root problems that's causing these, and helping you fix those root problems, and then helping you progress forward where you're in a healthier state, and preferably in a younger state too.
So let's explain your 3 steps.
So, the first step is find a coach, right? And find a coach that is going to go over your health history, because the health history is important. Like, just for instance, like if heavy metals, right? Heavy metals can stay in your system for 3 generations, meaning that even though you eat as clean as you can since you were born, if your grandmother had heavy metals, guess what? You got heavy metals, right?
And your blood labs, your metrics, you're measuring different things than what a medical doctor would.
Definitely. I'm looking at more as optimal numbers, where you are the 5%, right? 95% is sort of in this range that they're sort of healthy or they're
okay,
dead.
Not
right?
Bad.
Exactly. I'm looking at the 5% where you are like, oh my gosh, you just like feel amazing. You don't get sick, right? A lot of energy. That's where I'm trying to get people to, is into that top 5%.
So I know that when you're talking to a lot of clients that says they eat healthy, they're really not, right? So how does that affect their health?
I think when it comes down to food, first of all, we should not eat anything that's processed. All right. I get this all the time. I love cauliflower pizza, and I always look at them funny. I was like, what is cauliflower pizza? Oh, I buy this cauliflower crust. It tastes amazing, and then I put my own ingredients like my tomato sauce and everything, and it tastes just like pizza. And I was telling him, well, how is that possible? Like, did you make your own cauliflower crust? And he said, oh, I bought it from the store. My thing is, if you cannot reproduce something that's sold in the store, there's something else that's putting it together, like some chemicals, some binding agents. And those are things that our body does not recognize as food.
And if you can reproduce it, you should probably reproduce it.
Exactly. Right. And I, even to this day, I have not been able to replicate a cauliflower pizza.
You haven't tried hard enough. You should try harder. So what about, like, you talked about parasites last time. Parasites, toxins,
Yeah,
a lot of other dirty stuff inside you.
yeah, and it's real, right? One of the things that we love sushi. We love red meat. We love eating fish, right? There's a lot of parasites in that, right? But even in our main food supply, I would say 90% of the food that we eat has a chemical called glyphosate, which is like the active ingredient in Roundup, and that's very toxic in your body. I'm not going to go in there. I can talk about a whole hour on that topic itself, but it's very toxic, and you need to get these things out.
What about I'm losing my track of it. What do you want to talk about? What's your next step?
Well, I think it's the environment. You have to be aware of what you're exposed to, right? A lot of people may be exposed to mold in the home that they're not aware of, right? Mold's a really big deal. If you're allergic to cats or dogs, like our cat sheds, like Wolfie sheds like crazy. And if you're allergic to it, you're going to have to clean your filters and stuff, right? But more so, what if you're working in jobs that are in, that you're exposed to these things? If you're a gardener, you're exposed to chemicals that are killing weeds. If you're a fumigation killing pests, guess what? These are all things that damage your body. But what are you going to do about it? Your body just doesn't get better when you stop working.
So, we're 50, we're heading to 54 soon, right?
Yes.
How many stem cells do I have left in my body?
Well, right now, probably not too bad. I'm guessing maybe 35%. But before we started, maybe about 25% active, right?
I look younger than last year.
Oh, you definitely look younger than last year. Right. So, the third step, is really about rebuilding your body. And it comes down to, this is the step that is missing. I find from a lot of coaches, your doctors and stuff like that, because they just tell you to eat better and exercise, right? You really have to find ways to rebuild your body, give it that helping hand. And in the last 10 years, we did a deep dive in all the different modalities, and all these things can help you, rebuild your body, give you better energy through mitochondria. And some of them can actually stimulate your body to grow new stem cells, like hot cold therapy, infrared saunas, and they have to be at a certain wavelength, certain heat, right? There's red light therapy. There's like pulse electronic magnetic therapy, like all these crazy terms. And then, of course, one of my favorites, hyperbaric chamber therapy. And all these things, if you're using it daily, can actually reverse your age, right? But first of all, you need to own them, right?
You need to own them. You have to find time for it.
And I think that's the biggest problem, is finding time. A lot of people just can't find time. Is like, we own a lot of this equipment next to the hyperbaric chamber. We own them all. And you need to find time to do it daily. If you want to reverse your body age, guess what? Each of these modalities, you have to do minimum 20, 30 minutes. And I'm talking about 4 or 5 modalities. That's 2-3 hours out of your day every day already, right?
Well, sure. So let's talk about, how your clients, when they first try something, right? Or even when you're trying vitamins or something else, if you don't feel the difference, that's just because you don't feel the difference.
And sometimes it really depends, when you don't feel a difference, something could be happening inside. It may take some time, depending on how old you are, how many things that you have going on in your body. You do have to give time for your body to heal, but you have to have a modality to kickstart that healing process, right?
So what do you think is the best, to give to your viewers one best advice?
Well, the best advice that I can give now, if you're doing what, you're eating right, you're exercising right, you hit the first 2 steps, right? You definitely want to make sure you're taking out the toxins. But the third way to regenerate, I'm not getting you all to go start buying infrared saunas or joining a gym that can do all this. The best thing to do is something that was introduced to me a year ago. And all it is a simple patch. And all you do is you put it on your body for 12 hours a day, and you take it off when you sleep, right? You wear it in the morning, take it off, easy peasy, you don't have to think about it. And it almost does all these things that these modality does, and I don't have to think about it, right? When it comes down to your health, you have to find something that's going to be easy to do, easy to remember, easy to implement.
Let's say, even though it just looks like a sticker, there's a lot of technology in it.
Yes.
That people weren't able to do before, and that's just with a lot of research, scientific research and experimenting that the scientists came up with.
Exactly, and they have patents on it and everything, right? So if anyone wants to find out a little bit more about that, just reach out to me. We have our contact there. Set up a time on Calendly on there, and click on the link and reach out to me, and we can talk a little more and set up your personalized treatment plan and go from there.
All right, we're going to take a break.
We'll be right back. All right, strap in, folks. We're about to take a joyride through the fountain of youth. It's Andy Nam from Chronically Healthy Life. Ever wonder why some folks seem to age like fine wine, while others are more like a moldy cheese that's been forgotten in the back of the fridge? It's like they got the energy of a Duracell bunny on Red Bull, while the rest of us are running on fumes. Now, you might think hitting the gym and munching on kale is the ticket to eternal youth, but sometimes it feels more like we're just speeding up the aging process. Picture this. You're on the treadmill, feeling like $1,000,000, and suddenly you look down and realize your knees sound like a bag of popcorn in the microwave. Not exactly the sound of youth, am I right? But fear not, my friends, because here's the kicker. It's not just about the number of candles on your birthday cake. It's all about those sneaky little stem cells playing hide and seek inside your body. At 20, you got more of these bad boys than you can shake a stick at. But fast forward a few decades and they're as scarce as a parking spot in downtown Manhattan. But guess what? We got a secret weapon up our sleeves. Phototherapy without drugs. That's right, folks. With LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patches, you can hit the rewind button on aging faster than you can say reverse aging. So if you're ready to reclaim your youth, look younger, feel stronger, and heal faster than a superhero with a cider espresso, then it's time to hop on board the rejuvenation train. Schedule your free consultation now at calendly.com/thefoolishcouple/stem cells. And let's make aging look like yesterday's news. It's not anti-aging, it's reverse aging, baby.
Hello, we are Mutts and Meows Rescue, a 501c3 nonprofit, foster-based, no-kill group. Mutts and Meows Rescue pulls dogs and cats from surrounding shelters in the greater Houston area. We even pick up dogs and cats abandoned on the streets. Mutts and Meows Rescue is foster-based and rely on your donations to keep rescuing. To know more about us is to know more about our furry friends and help them find their forever homes. Come visit us at Mutts and Meows Rescue on Facebook today and decide how you can make a difference.
Welcome back to Chronically Healthy Life. So next week, we're going to have a real guest review.
Yeah, I'm a real guest. What are you talking about?
With the coconut hair.
Yeah, so we're going to have Samantha.
Sounds like Hawaiian. We'll find out.
So join us here on Friday at 7 p.m. CST. You can watch past episodes at watch.e360tv.com in the Vitality TV network or on our YouTube channel, chronicallyhealthylife.com.
And if you'd like to know more about what we do or how we can help you live at chronicallyhealthylife.com, visit us on our website, chronicallyhealthylife.com. And if you have any comments, questions, suggestions about our show, comment on our Facebook page, Chronically Healthy Life, or email us at anything@chronicallyhealthylife.com.
We'll see you next time.
I'm Dr. Audrey Tang, a chartered psychologist, and on my show, Mental Health Matters, we take a deep dive into all things mental health and well-being with the experts. So join us at 8 a.m. PST on Thursdays on the Fresh Takes channel because mental health matters on E360 TV.